What if I told you that the market wasn't your opponent, but your mirror? What if every chart you analyze, every position you enter, and every time you pull the trigger, you're not trading the market at all, but fragments of yourself? You think you're chasing profits, but you're actually confronting your own fears. You believe you're analyzing trends, but you're just trying to outwit your past. And the cruelest twist, the more knowledge you gain, the deeper into the maze you go. This isn't conspiracy, it's psychology. It's why 93% of traders still lose money in 2025. Not because they lack systems, but because they never realize the market is an amplifier, not a savior. It amplifies your greed, your need to be right, your fear of being wrong. And until you tame those forces, every click, every candle, every trade is just a spin on the same emotional roulette. But there's another way, a quieter, almost invisible path, followed by the rare few who make it look effortless. They don't predict, they don't panic, they don't pray, they see through the illusion. They know trading isn't a game of intelligence, it's a game of clarity. They've learned to walk the mirror maze without getting lost in their own reflection. This isn't about charts, it's about clarity. It's not about indicators, it's about identity. It's not about predicting the future, it's about mastering your present state. And if you're willing, truly willing, to face the trader behind the trades, then step forward. Because what you're about to learn will shatter everything you thought you knew and reflect back everything you need to grow. Welcome to the maze. Welcome to Trading in the Zone, as you've never seen it before. Part 1. The Mirror Reveals All. Chapter 1. The mirror isn't the enemy. Have you ever blamed the market for your loss, cursed the news, or felt that the charts were out to get you? Here's the truth. The market doesn't know who you are. It doesn't care. It doesn't punish or reward. It simply reflects, like a mirror. The biggest trap in trading isn't the volatility. It's the illusion that something outside of you is responsible for your results. You see a red candle and feel fear. You see green and feel euphoria. But the candle didn't create that emotion. You did. And the moment you react, you're no longer trading what's in front of you. You're trading a memory, a fear, a story you told yourself 1,000 trades ago. Imagine walking through a carnival mirror maze. Each mirror shows a distorted version of you, taller, shorter, wider, upside down. You panic, thinking the mirrors are broken, but they aren't. They're simply revealing all the ways your perception can be twisted. Trading is the same. The market shows you not itself, but how you see it, distorted by past trauma, ego, desperation, and desire. Let me tell you about a man named Evan. He spent 5 years mastering chart patterns, reading every technical book, memorizing indicators. He was convinced that once he knew enough, the market would reward him, but every win was followed by a bigger loss. Not because his analysis was wrong, but because the moment he entered a trade, he needed it to prove something, that he was smart, that he'd figured it out, that he wasn't a failure. And when the trade moved against him, even slightly, he panicked, broke his rules, doubled down, spiraled. Until one day, after blowing another account, he didn't rage. He just stared at the screen and whispered, "It's me. It's always been me." That was the moment everything changed. Not because Evan found a new system, but because he finally saw the mirror. He stopped blaming and started observing. He journaled every emotion. He asked, "Why did I react that way?" He retrained himself to respond instead of react. His trades became boring, robotic, emotionless, and consistently profitable. What Mark Douglas was really teaching us isn't just mindset. It's a redefinition of reality. The market is a mirror. It reflects your beliefs about risk, loss, identity, worth. And until you see the reflection for what it is, just feedback, you'll keep fighting shadows that were never real. So ask yourself, what part of you is trading? The calm observer, or the wounded child needing validation? What do you see in the market? Patterns or projections? Because once you stop fearing the mirror, you can finally use it to evolve. Chapter 2. Why Smart Traders Still Lose. He had a triple PhD in math, economics, and data science. He'd worked at hedge funds, built algorithmic models, taught at MIT. His name was Michael, and when he retired early to crack trading, everyone thought he'd be rich within months. He wasn't. He blew his first $200,000 account in 89 days, then another $50,000 in just 3 weeks. How? How could someone so brilliant lose like that? Because knowledge is not immunity. In fact, in trading, it often becomes the disease. Here's the uncomfortable truth. the smarter you are, the more dangerous your mind becomes. Intelligence craves patterns. It loves to be right. It builds complex narratives and forecasts. But the market doesn't care about your IQ. It doesn't reward clever. It rewards consistent. It doesn't react to brilliance. It reacts to behavior. And when you think your knowledge guarantees outcomes, you create the perfect storm: expectation plus ego plus randomness. Mark Douglas warned us about this. He said the market is a place of infinite possibilities, but our minds are hardwired to seek certainty. We want control, prediction, logic, but trading is probabilistic, not deterministic. And when smart people try to fit chaos into neat equations, they get blindsided. Why? Because they aren't trading reality. They're trading their theories. Imagine trying to play jazz with a classical mindset. You're rigid, structured, rule-based, but jazz is improvisation. If you need every note planned before you begin, you'll freeze the moment something unexpected happens. That's what happens to smart traders. They plan too much, adapt too little, and fall apart when the music changes. Michael admitted it. After his second account vanished, he said, "The market doesn't care about my credentials. It doesn't care about my models. It's not broken. My thinking is." What he learned next changed everything. He began to deconstruct his beliefs. He realized he didn't need more data. He needed less emotion. He didn't need tighter models. He needed more flexibility. He started to treat every trade as a coin flip, not a certainty. He detached from needing to be right, and slowly the storm calmed. You see, intelligence gives you tools, but it's humility that lets you use them well. In trading, knowledge must serve awareness, not the other way around, because the market won't reward your degree. It will test your discipline, your detachment, your belief under pressure. Chapter 3. The first trade that destroys you. It always starts with one trade, one win, one dopamine spike that sears itself into your brain like a tattoo. It doesn't matter how small. Maybe you made $50, maybe $5,000. What matters is how it made you feel. You felt chosen, powerful, like you cracked the code. You beat the market. You were the exception. But that wasn't a win. That was your first illusion. And illusions are sticky. Most traders don't get destroyed by their first loss. They get destroyed by their first high. Because that high becomes the new standard. And suddenly, you're not trading to follow a plan. You're trading to feel that way again. That first trade wasn't just a win. It became your drug. Let me take you into the story of Alicia. She was new, cautious, methodical. She paper traded for 2 months, took notes, logged every move. Then, on a random Tuesday, she took her first live trade. It was a long on USD JPY, a simple breakout. And it shot up 80 pips in minutes. She couldn't believe it. Won $100 in less than an hour. Her heart raced. Her eyes widened. She laughed and whispered, "This is it. I'm free." She wasn't. That day her fate was sealed, because now every trade had a shadow, the memory of that first win. She chased it, again and again. She broke her rules. She over-leveraged. She entered bad setups just because they felt similar. But the feeling never came back. And after 6 months and 5 blown accounts, she realized it wasn't the market that betrayed her. It was her mind. What Alicia didn't know, and what Douglas makes painfully clear, is that the market rewards randomness in the short term. You can win by accident, and when you do, you internalize a dangerous belief. Winning means I'm good. But that's a lie. The market doesn't grade your worth. It doesn't reward your hustle. It just reflects probabilities. Sometimes you win doing the wrong thing. Sometimes you lose doing the right thing. The trick is to stop judging outcomes emotionally and start trusting the process mathematically. Part 2. The Addiction to Chaos. Chapter 4. The Addiction to Random Rewards. Every time you click buy or sell, your brain lights up like a slot machine. Ding, flash, ping. The screen blinks. The chart moves. Your heart skips. You're not just trading. You're gambling with your identity. And the scariest part? Most traders have no idea they're addicted, because the addiction doesn't look like a problem. It looks like hope. This is the dirty secret of trading psychology. It's not losing that ruins traders. It's intermittent winning. Random rewards. The illusion that just one more trade could turn it all around. And in 2025, where mobile apps let you execute in milliseconds, the high comes faster than ever before. Let me introduce you to Darius, a disciplined software engineer by day, a scalper by night. He started with a solid plan, small lot sizes, clean entries, strict exits. But one night, completely by chance, he broke a rule and doubled his account in 2 hours. It felt like fate, like the market was giving him permission to go off script. That night rewired his brain. He started risking more, ignoring his stops, taking every trade that felt right. Because sometimes it worked, and when it did, the reward wasn't just money, it was meaning. I knew it. I'm a natural. I just need one more. But when the losses returned, bigger, sharper, crueler, he didn't stop. He couldn't. He was chasing the feeling, not the logic. You see, casinos don't destroy gamblers by losing streaks. They destroy them by letting them win, just enough to stay hooked. This is what psychologists call variable reward reinforcement, the most addictive loop in behavioral science. The same mechanism behind TikTok, loot boxes, crypto moonshots, and impulsive trading. Mark Douglas tried to warn us. He said traders who don't understand this cycle become victims of randomness. They confuse good luck with skill, bad luck with injustice, and every trade becomes a test of their self-worth. But here's the real kicker. The market wants you addicted. Not because it has intent, but because it's a perfect mirror for human bias. If you trade without structure, without self-awareness, the market becomes a slot machine. And the lever you're pulling is your future. Chapter 5. The illusion of control. You think you're in control? You study the charts, you draw your levels, you backtest your system. You click the button, you decide the risk. You feel powerful, safe, like a general commanding troops into battle. But control in trading is a lie. A sweet, seductive lie wrapped in spreadsheets and self-delusion. Because the moment you enter a trade, you're no longer in control. You can't control the market. You can't control the next candle. You can't control what the Fed says, or what whales do, or how news will be interpreted. All you control is your reaction. But that's the one thing most traders refuse to master. Imagine standing in front of a mirror, trying to change your reflection by yelling at it. You frown. It frowns back. You raise your hand. It raises its hand. And still you think, if I just try harder, maybe I can make it smile first. That's what it's like trying to bend the market to your will. You're not trading price action. You're arguing with your own projection. Let's rewind to a story about Julian, a former army officer turned trader. In the military, control meant survival. Every move planned, every variable known. He brought that mindset into trading, and it almost killed him. He couldn't accept randomness. Every loss was an offense. Every stop-loss hit felt like betrayal. So, he micromanaged, overanalyzed, jumped between strategies, added more indicators, tried to control everything, except his own response. One day, the market gapped down during an earnings release. He hadn't expected it. It triggered his stop, exactly as planned. But he re-entered, doubled down, then tripled. It wiped his entire account in 6 hours. The irony? His original stop-loss was perfect. His system worked, but his ego couldn't handle being out of control. That wasn't the market's fault. That was his illusion unraveling. Part 3. The 4 Horsemen of Destruction. Chapter 6. The Myth of the Risk-Taker. We romanticize the trader who goes all in, the risk-taker, the renegade, the underdog who bets the house and walks away a millionaire. Movies glorify it. Instagram glorifies it. But in real life, the risk-taker doesn't win. He burns out, blows up, or disappears. Here's the truth. Most traders aren't risk-takers. They're risk deniers. And that denial, not the risk itself, is what kills them. There's a story about Leandro, a 24-year-old trader who started with $2,000. He turned it into $30,000 in 3 weeks. Not because he had an edge, but because he didn't care. No stop losses, full margin, gut instincts. One day, he posted a screenshot online. $8,300 in a single trade. Risk what you fear and live free. The comments praised him. Legend. Savage. Inspirational. 3 days later, he was down to $400. His bio quietly disappeared. What happened? He never saw the risk. Not truly. He saw possibility, not probability. He confused bravery with blindness. And when the market turned, he didn't have a plan. Because he never respected the danger. He only worshipped the high. Chapter 7. The 4 Primary Trading Fears. They're silent, they're subtle, and they run the show. even when you think you're in control. Every bad trade you've ever taken, every rule you've ever broken, every moment you froze, hesitated, over-leveraged, or bailed too soon wasn't caused by the market. It was caused by one of them, the 4 primal fears of trading. The first, fear of being wrong. This is the voice that whispers, you can't take another loss. It's the emotional attachment to being right, not because it helps your account, but because it protects your identity. In life, being right earns you respect. In trading, it often earns you a margin call, because needing to be right makes you hold losers too long and cut winners too fast. The second, fear of losing money. Not in the logical sense. We all accept risk on the surface. But deep down, many traders equate loss with danger, with failure, with scarcity. And when the red hits the screen, their nervous system interprets it as pain, so they flinch, bail early, or worse, avoid good trades entirely. The third, fear of missing out. FOMO. That moment when a candle rockets up and you didn't catch it, and suddenly the next setup has to make up for it. This fear disconnects you from your edge. You're not trading probability, you're trading panic. It's what pulls you into low-quality trades because everyone else is already in. The fourth, fear of leaving money on the table. You were up 60 pips, didn't exit, and watched it reverse. Now you hesitate next time. You force more profit. You stop trusting your plan. But the market doesn't care what could have been. It only rewards what is. And if you chase ghosts, you'll bleed reality. These 4 fears don't shout, they whisper. That's what makes them dangerous. Part 4, the dopamine deception. Chapter 8, the dopamine lie. It sneaks in on a green candle. It slides beneath your logic, rides the adrenaline, and whispers, "You've finally made it." Euphoria, the sweet poison of success, the drug that feels like confidence but acts like a blindfold. And in trading, it doesn't whisper, it roars. Euphoria is not the opposite of fear. It's its twin, dressed in celebration, but born of the same illusion that you're in control, that the market just confirmed your genius, that you've leveled up. Here's the dangerous truth. Most traders don't lose because of failure. They lose because of a single, unexpected win. That made them feel invincible. Look at what happened to Theo, a prop trader trainee, 6 weeks in, flat returns. Then one day, he caught a perfect move. Your USD collapsed on unexpected news, and he'd already shorted. It was beautiful, textbook. He made more in that day than the past 2 months combined. His mentor congratulated him. Theo went home floating. He felt chosen. The next day, he increased his position size, broke his rules, overtraded, gave back half the win. By the end of the week, he was negative. By the end of the month, he was fired. Why? Not because of the market, not because of one bad setup, but because his dopamine spike told him a lie. You've arrived. You don't need discipline anymore. Chapter 9. The market owes you nothing. You show up early. You study the charts. You journal every trade. You've paid for the courses, watched the webinars, practiced for months. You follow your plan, stay disciplined, take the setup, and still lose. And something inside you snaps. This isn't fair. I did everything right. I deserve to win. No, you don't. That sentence, I deserve to win, is the beginning of destruction. Because the market doesn't care how hard you try. It doesn't reward effort. It doesn't punish mistakes. It is not your parent, your teacher, your God, or your judge. It's a mirror. And the moment you project meaning onto it, the moment you believe it owes you something, you lose control of the one thing you can truly own, your behavior. Part 5, the transformation. Chapter 10, from analysis to alchemy. You believe you're one indicator away, one more strategy, one better confirmation signal, or secret moving average crossover that unlocks the vault. You binge videos, devour courses, upgrade tools, and still, the wins are random, the losses sting, the inconsistency haunts you. Because the problem isn't what you know, it's how you see. Trading isn't about stacking knowledge, it's about alchemy, the transformation of perception, the shift from analysis to awareness, from data overload to intuitive precision. And that shift doesn't come from learning more, it comes from trusting more, specifically trusting yourself. Chapter 11, the zero-sum shadow. Every time you click buy, someone else clicks sell. Every dollar you make is a dollar someone else doesn't. That's the brutal truth most traders never confront. This game isn't cooperative. It's a zero-sum arena. and your edge is someone else's failure. Most people don't want to hear that. It sounds cold, ruthless. But denying it doesn't make it untrue. It just makes you blind to the shadow you're dancing with. Chapter 12, Why You Hesitate. The setup is perfect. Everything aligns. The level, the signal, the structure, even the market conditions. You hover over the mouse, your finger twitches, and then you pause, you hesitate. You wait for just one more candle, one more confirmation, one more reason to believe. And then it's gone. The trade moves without you. You missed it. Again. Why? Why do you hesitate when everything screams go? Because the trade isn't risky. Your past is. You're not afraid of this setup. You're afraid of what happened last time. That one time you followed the rules and still lost. That one time you trusted your edge and got slapped. That moment carved into your nervous system like a scar. And now, every time a trade appears, your brain doesn't see opportunity. It sees potential pain. Part 6, Mastering the Edge. Chapter 13, The Edge You Don't Trust. Every trader says they have an edge. Maybe it's a strategy, a signal, a combination of indicators, or a secret blend of price action and intuition. They say it with pride, like a badge. But here's the paradox. They don't trade it. Not consistently, not faithfully, not when it really matters. Because deep down, they don't actually trust it. The edge isn't just what you know. It's what you do, without hesitation. It's the method you follow through losses. It's the system you don't abandon after 2 losing trades. It's the belief you act on even when the market makes you doubt it. And without trust, your edge is just theory. Chapter 14, The Lie of Consistency. Every trader dreams of it. The golden streak, day after day, smooth green, no drama, no spikes of panic, just steady, reliable profits. The holy grail, consistency. But here's the lie. Consistency isn't a trait you have. It's a discipline you become. And most traders never become it because they keep waiting for it to happen naturally. They think, if I just learn more, if I find the right setup, if I get better at reading price action, then I'll become consistent. But consistency isn't knowledge. It's not talent. It's not even experience. It's identity. Chapter 15, When Winning Makes You Worse. You crushed it, nailed the entry, held through the storm, exited with precision. That win was clean, big, maybe your best trade yet. And in that moment, a whisper creeps in. You've got this. Then it grows louder. You're on fire. And finally, it shouts, you can't lose. That's when it begins, the unraveling. The curse of success is that it feels like a crown. But in trading, it's often a curse. Because when you win big, especially early, especially dramatically, it doesn't just boost your account, it warps your perception. You stop following your plan and start following your ego. Part 7, The Inner Game. Chapter 16, The Truth About Emotional Pain. It's just a red candle, a few pips, a stop-loss hit. Logically, it's no big deal. But it feels like a gut punch, a betrayal, a shame spiral. You try to shake it off, but your hands tremble. Your breathing changes. You stare at the screen like it personally insulted you. Why does such a small event cause so much pain? Because the pain isn't in the market, it's in the meaning you give it. Chapter 17, Your Inner Child is Trading. You think it's you at the keyboard, the adult, the rational thinker, the strategist. But look closer, feel deeper. In that moment of panic, when the market moves against you, when the trade slips out of control, whose voice is really making the decision? It's not the analyst, it's the abandoned child, the one who needed to be perfect to earn love, the one who feared mistakes meant punishment, the one who learned that failure meant shame and uncertainty meant danger. That's the real trader most days, not your educated present self, but the younger you, stuck in emotional time loops, reacting to now with the pain of then. Chapter 18, The Danger of Euphoria. You've done the work, you've healed the wounds, you're grounded, calm, centered, and then, boom, you catch the trade, the perfect trade. It explodes in your favor, melting through levels like butter. Your account balloons. Your phone pings with profit. Your heart beats faster, but this time, it doesn't feel like fear. It feels like destiny. This is what you've been waiting for, right? Wrong. Because just like fear destroys from the shadows, euphoria destroys with a smile. Part 8, Entering the Zone. Chapter 19. The zone isn't a mystery, it's a decision. They speak of it like myth. The zone. That elusive mental state where time vanishes, the market speaks, and every move flows with effortlessness. Traders say they were in it, like it descended upon them by magic. But that's the lie. The zone isn't luck. It isn't a gift. It's a decision. One made moment by moment, trade by trade. Mark Douglas broke this illusion. He said the zone is simply the absence of internal resistance. No fear, no hope, no baggage. Just clarity, presence, execution. You're not predicting. You're not reacting. You're just being. Like a musician lost in the notes or an athlete who doesn't think, they just move. Chapter 20. The unseen beliefs that bind you. Every system you've built, every risk rule you've crafted, every trade you take, they all sit on top of something deeper. Belief. Not just conscious beliefs like, my edge works or risk management matters. No, the hidden ones. The ones that operate like shadow code in your mental software, silently running your every decision without you even knowing. These unseen beliefs are the real reason you hesitate, overtrade, sabotage, freeze. They're not random. They're reflections of deeply held assumptions you never thought to question. And until you dig them up and rewrite them, your outer performance will always be hijacked by inner programming. Chapter 21. The final belief that sets you free. Imagine placing a trade without needing it to work. No anxiety, no mental bargaining, no scanning for signs that you're right. Just clarity, precision, detachment. You see the setup, you execute, and you walk away, completely at peace with whatever happens next. That's the final frontier, the belief that changes everything. You don't need to know what happens next to make money. Mark Douglas called it the ultimate trader's mindset. It sounds simple, but behind that sentence lies an entire psychological evolution. Because most traders, whether they admit it or not, trade for one thing: certainty. They want to know. They want the trade to reassure them. They want to feel safe before taking action. But the market doesn't offer safety. It offers probability. And the moment you release the need for certainty, you step into true power. Closing, walking out of the maze. You've walked through the maze, faced the mirrors, watched your illusions crumble, one by one, and in their place, something rare has emerged: clarity. You now understand that trading was never about predicting the market. It was about understanding yourself inside it. You've learned 21 truths, not just lessons, but transformations. You saw that the market isn't your enemy. It's your mirror. You realized that knowledge isn't enough. Trust is. You felt the pull of fear, of euphoria, of identity, and learned to breathe through it. You discovered that your edge is useless without belief, that your consistency is a reflection of your emotional state, that your worst trades were never about the market at all. You faced your inner child. You rewired your operating system. And finally, you surrendered the need to be right and stepped into the only mindset that creates freedom. But this is not the end. It's the beginning of a different journey. One where you stop learning to feel safe and start training to be powerful, where every trade is a practice in presence, where your journal becomes a confession booth and your edge becomes your meditation. Remember this: the market is never against you. It's simply asking, are you finally ready to see yourself? The maze is behind you now. The mirror no longer frightens you. And ahead, the open road of true mastery awaits.